Episode 55.
Weird.
Running around. That's part of me 2 mile run today.
Ah, dear.
Episode 55.
55.
With Aileen.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So we're here to talk about
Baby food.
baby food.
Baby food. Kids food. Life.
How did you get into that?
I'm a graphic designer. I've been a graphic designer for the last 22 years, and I have my own design agency. And I had started, I had Oscar, my little boy, and I'd seen a TED talk that Jamie Oliver did on childhood nutrition.
Okay.
And he basically talked about the state of the state of the diets of our children, and how the children of today are going to live 10 years less than their parents did, directly because of the diet that they're eating. And so the whole thing just really affected me, probably because I was very emotional. I just had a baby, and I was feeding him, and I was kind of looking down and going I want to make a change, and I want to do something. And normally I'd see things on TV and I go, I'm definitely going to do something about that. But this time I really decided I'm definitely going to do something. So I changed the way we were eating at home and started cooking healthier recipes. And when I started weaning Oscar, I started taking photos of the combinations of food I was feeding him. So just as a personal project, I had taken maternity leave from work. I'd got somebody in to help me, and I just I'm always somebody that likes to stay busy. So I started taking photos of the food I was feeding him and the combinations of recipes I was coming up with, and I was putting it together in my head. I was like, right, I'm going to put this together in a little book and give it to him when he's 21 to totally embarrass the shit out of him in front of all of his friends, because I'm a mum and that's what we do. Really embarrassing. Yeah. But my own mum then seen it when he was about a year old and said, I think there's something in that, and I really think that other people will get great benefit out of seeing your child eating kale hummus or beetroot pesto and eating all the vegetables. He eats absolutely everything. And she was really astounded with the way he was eating, because he literally was eating everything. So she's like, I think you should get a book. I think you should try and see if you can make it into a book. And so I approached a publisher. I sent it out to about 5 or 6 publishers, and Gill Books came back to me. Gill Books, who did Roz Purcell's book, and Susan Jane White. And they came back to me and they were like, yeah, we think it's a really good idea. You're feeding kids, get them to feed themselves, but nobody has a clue who you are. You're just a mom at home, and maybe you should think it's setting up a little Facebook page and a website, and then come back to us and see how it is. And in a few years, and then it'll probably be a better time. But I'm the worst. If somebody tells me you can't do something, or go set up a little Facebook page, I'm going to show you. Yeah. So I went home that night. That was on Friday. But the following Friday, I'd started a web page, and I'd set up a website. I started sharing I had maybe 4 or 5 recipes on it, and then I started sharing recipes on Facebook, and I launched it the following Friday, and by the Monday I had 4,000 people following me on Facebook, which is mental. Yeah. I shared it to somebody who shared it to somebody. I'm I really need to get this page off the ground, and I'm sharing really healthy recipes for kids, and just people really liked it and really liked the stuff I was talking about and sharing. And I was sharing really easy, simple things, but I shared some really good treats. Yeah. But that went viral on my first couple of videos.
Savage.
So I had 4,000 people and that was at the end of October, I think. October, November, December, January.
What year was that?
2016.
Right.
Yeah, Oscars. Yeah, 2016. That was in October. So October, November, December, and January. And it was October, November, December. I did some stuff with Every Mum. I was on the radio. Reporters started to get in touch with me, asking me oh, can we do an interview with you? You're the woman that gets kids eating vegetables, and I got myself a name for getting kids eating better food, and the ideas that I had. I don't know what to do. Shit setup.
Hate the professionalism here.
Your gimbal has died, has it?
Yeah, it does. There you go. Does that every now and again.
Hello. Good, thanks. Okay.
Sorry about that. Gas. Connor will ring me now and goes, the fucking camera's fucked. Sorry.
That's alright.
There you go. So loads of people are contacting you.
Loads of people, and so I did loads of work, and then by the January, on the first week that we came back to work after the Christmas holidays, like 4 months later, I had literally just got 10,000 followers on Facebook that morning, and I sent an email into Gil, and I just said, since I last talked to you, I set up a little Facebook page, and I was real patronising. Set up a little Facebook page.
Thank you, Gil.
And yeah, and now I have 10,000 followers, and I was on like the news, and I was like on the radio, and I've been in the Irish Independent and the Irish Times, and I've done loads of stuff, and will you give me a book deal now? And they're like the following, that was on Friday, and my editor, who's so nice, then she messaged me and she was like, holy crap. She rang me like straight away and said, holy crap, like I can't believe, like how the hell did that happen? Like I was expecting you to come back in a few years. And I was like, no, I told you, like the time is now, it has to be now. So the following week, I think the following Tuesday or Wednesday, I went in and had a meeting with them and signed a book deal with them. So my first 2 books are with Gil. So
I'm just a proper gangster, and I just had to reveal myself as a proper gangster. So don't doubt me. Proper.
Yeah. So yeah, my book then was released then the following year. I did all the work on it, so I did all the food photography and the food styling, cooked all the recipes, wrote the book, and then because I'm a designer, I designed the book too. So it was really like my personal baby project. Like I really loved doing that book so much. Like it was like my child. Like, but it became a #1 bestseller. I was like
Savage.
#1 on the Irish Times bestsellers list for nearly 6 weeks. It was
Savage.
like, it did really well. Like, yeah, so it was in the top 10, I think, for 6 weeks, and it was #1 for 3 weeks on the Irish Times. Yeah.
Savage.
So I told you the time was now.
I've been looking at some of your videos on Instagram. So Instagram's a new thing. Now normally my views are MMA KOs, MMA fights.
Yeah, which I think is really weird that you're talking to me about kids' food. So I
Here's
was like, what the hell are you going to talk to me
Here's
about?
another thing, MMA, right? So MMA is one of my views on Instagram or YouTube. I look at videos of that. Another one is normally dudes building swimming pools in forests at 3 in the morning. I'm looking at this. Wow. Another is people making food.
Okay.
I just love it, looking at people. So the way you do it and other people, it's like throwing stuff in a pan and throw this in and throw this in. It's like, oh, that looks so easy.
It's not.
I wish I could do it.
Like, it's a head
No, I'd
wrecker.
say so.
Making food videos is like my #1 arch enemy. Like, light is my light, like, wrecks my head, and sound. Like, I've recorded food videos where I've been talking and going, like, now I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and going, oh yeah, the video, and I'm looking at the screen going, oh yeah, that's great, and then I go, fuck it, I forgot to turn my mic on.
Yeah.
Or like, it's not like I'm trying to do everything myself. So I have like one camera pointing at me, I have my sound, and I have like just trying to like do it all, remember what to say, and like I'm not working with a team, I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
like I just have to make sure that everything, I have like a little checklist. Is my sound on? Is my batteries charged? Because I've also done that, going, oh no, my battery just died.
Yeah.
And like literally then, like I could like be on the floor crying. Like it's so much work. It's so
tough.
much work.
Like the gimbal there. The stuff
Yeah,
just does
like
its own
that's
thing.
minor shit.
It just wrecks. Yeah. I did do you know Aoife Birmingham?
Yeah,
we did
yeah,
a
of
podcast
course.
here, right? And whatever, like the camera just shit itself, and we're like literally like an hour and a half deep. And I go, none of that recorded.
Oh,
I was just like, I wanted to just throw myself out there.
No.
So we had to do it all over again. And the second conversation was completely different.
That's so funny, isn't
all
it?
different. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not doing this again.
No. This is
Just so you know, if it doesn't work this time,
that's it. We're all done. And you always done yoga. When did you get into the yoga? So you had the baby.
Yeah.
And you kind of went on this journey of making food and I want to make this change. When did you always do? What was your fitness like? Or
So I've been very active anyway. I had a bit of a mental breakdown, I think, last year because I worked way too much.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, so baby-led feeding started 5 years ago. My book came out in 2017, 89, 2021. So in the last 4 years...
What's the book called?
The Baby-Led Feeding Cookbook, and then the second one is the Baby-Friendly Family Cookbook. So in the last 4 years, since 2017, I've brought out 2 books. I also started Foodworks with Enterprise Ireland and Board BIA, so I got selected out of hundreds of people for that. Went on that programme and brought out a food product which was in like most of the retail and Dunnes, most of the food retail and Dunnes. That was launched 2 years ago and it didn't sell. Okay. And I put every bit of my time into it. So I was working 7 days a week. I was working late in the evenings. Just like had its effects everywhere around my life, my health, my relationships, my kids, everything just seemed to like get on top of me. Like I couldn't drive my car. Like I wasn't able to physically drive my car. I used to have to get the bus everywhere. I was too nervous to drive my car. Okay. Like that's not me.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to the point where I was like totally overworked, and then I'd go to the gym like in the evening times to stay fit and active or walk the dog. But I was doing like CrossFit, so it's going from like really heavy, like physical, like mentally draining kind of work to like go. Come on, how many pull-ups can you do? How many press-ups can you do? How many of this can you do? And I'm really competitive, so I wanted to be the best at everything that I was doing. And then I just kind of went down on my face.
Poor new.
Yeah. And last October, it was kind of the worst kind of I'd ever been in my life. I started sea swimming. I put a post, somebody said something really nasty about me on social media about my weight, like really ridiculous. Because I'm not like overweight or anything, but somebody made a comment about my weight.
Male or female?
A female. Really weird.
You're a real nice person, I can say it. Cunt. You're a cunt.
So I don't use words like
Be
that.
Be nice. You're real nice. You're real nice. You never say that, but I can.
Yeah, I don't.
Don't say that.
Yeah, so somebody made a comment about my weight, and I was in a really bad place at the time, and I'm like getting really emotional, really upset. And I put a post up on Facebook, and I said, "You just don't know what's going on in people's lives, and if you have nothing nice to say, just keep to yourself. Like you just don't know." And Ruth from Healthy Buzz messaged me and said, "Are you okay? I think something might be up with you." And I think she was kind of worried, and she asked me to come down to the beach. And so I started sea swimming. I'd been swimming during the summer, but I kind of stopped at the end of September. But this was at the end of October, like middle of October. But I came down to the beach and I just really needed it. Like I got an addiction then to coming to the beach every day, and I started doing that every day. And then I started doing the yoga then. I got back and I'd kind of stopped doing the stuff because all the gyms obviously were closed and I didn't like the Zoom classes, so I started doing my own yoga practice then in January. But I was only kind of doing it maybe once or twice a week. And then I met Leah on the beach, and Leah was like, "Come down and practice with me, and I'll get you back into doing it." And Mandy, my other pal, she was doing it as well, and they just made it okay to do yoga on the beach, and that it doesn't really fucking matter if somebody's walking by and you just zone out. And they really encouraged me to do that. And then I started getting a regular practice, and I was doing 4 times, and I was doing 5 times, and now I'm doing 6 times a week on the beach. And it's so nice, I love it. Now I'm never going, I'm really sorry, but I'm not going back to the gym because, I won't say never, but I'm loving that more than anything. I feel like it's totally calmed me down and brought me down to a different level or something than I've ever been. Like, I don't ever want to go back to that place. I've been busy, but yet my mind sometimes goes, I need to do something different, I need to be busy, and then I kind of like calm the fuck down.
I think it's a great start to the day. It's a great leveler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of, you have a couple of hours in before everyone else.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for getting in touch with our natural circadian rhythm. Is you wake up for sunrise, you know, and you go to sleep when the sun's setting.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more positive energy around there.
The sun
rather
sets
than
at like 10:30. I'm asleep by 9 o'clock.
You know, rather than that other way of like staying up and busy and you're just bumping around, busy but not really productive. Whereas I think between them hours you're way more anyway. I'm way more productive and do more stuff because I only have a certain window than kind of just going through the motions. You know. Like
I find like even in the evening times. Before I was sitting on my phone and I'd be like I'd look for something specific, and next thing I'm looking at like foxes is my thing.
Oh. Right.
I'm like looking at like, oh, look at the little baby fox. Oh, look, oh, and then I'm sending them to my daughter because she also likes foxes. Yeah. But like I get lost in this like mad world of like social media and the mad shit people do, and the things the little Chinese people make with like cutting like little bits of rice into like little dinosaurs. That's what I was looking at the other day going, well, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Get off social media. So like that's why I love coming down here, doing my practice, going back. Like I'm usually at home at like 7:30 before my husband goes to work. So I'm home, he goes to work, and I bring my little boy to school, come back, start work at like 9:30. Like I feel like I've almost had a full day by that point. Yeah. And then I get my work done, and then by the evening time I'm like, can't even speak to me, I'm just wrecked. I just go to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock usually.
Yeah, I've been going to bed earlier, but I do find it's much more of a positive thing. And you said addicted to the beach there. I'd always like, anything I do, I look at me motives. I'd say to myself, like an inner dialogue goes, what are your motives for this? Yeah. My motives on the beach or going to the beach is really in the morning, everyone's asleep at my house. I'm going down, swim, we meet a few lads there, a few girls, we all meet up, go for a swim, have a chat, coffee and home.
I swear to God.
This is doing my fucking head in. Like that. It's such a pain.
Oh, it's gone again. Here, it's done. John. Is it all right?
I'll sellotape that the next time. There you go.
You just have to use your thing, you see.
See that now. Pro.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What does it keep on doing?
Is your gimbal battery dead?
I only charge it up. Shit. Dun. Professionals.
Can you see that and you and that?
But motives for the beach. Come down, feel better, have a swim, want to throw the fucking gimbal in the sea.
Here, wait.
You know what I'm going to do? Fucking sellotape that. But Matthew's got one there. Oh.
Let's use this thing now. This is unbelievable.
Dang my fucking...
Here, I'll hold it, look.
Go in. I want to turn now. Oh my god. I need to get... Do you know what I need to... Yeah, perfecto.
Is that alright?
Yeah, sounds good. Connor, you need to put on a gimbal class, show me how to use this fucking thing for an hour. But anyway, getting to the beach, you feel better.
Yeah, I do.
More positive.
Yeah.
More creative.
Yeah, I do. And like, I've met so many lovely, lovely people down here. Like Fran, I feel like saved my life. She's amazing, and Ruth and Paul and Leah, like, and Mandy, and like I've just made some of the best friends, and Jen, like people that I never want my life to be without. Like people that I didn't know this time last year. It's mad, isn't it? Like I didn't know those people last year.
Yeah.
Like none of them. Like I knew Ruth from being in the gym, but like we weren't pals or anything. Like it's amazing like how you can go from being so sad and so anxious and so inward on yourself and so like, I don't know, I'm like so competitive with myself. Like I think that's one of the reasons I really love yoga so much, is that you can't be competitive in yoga. It's a very personal practice. Like you can aim to try and be better at poses, or like do a handstand. Like I'm really working on trying to do handstands at the moment. You can aim to do all of those things, but it's not like lifting weights in the gym where I'm like doing deadlifts with 90 kilos, like going like, next time I'm gonna fucking rock like 92 because I saw Ruth do it, and I'm gonna be like Ruth, even though Ruth's a weightlifter, like, and has been doing it for years. But that's the way my brain works for some mad reason. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what that's about.
You get off that. It's we are conditioned with that. Competitiveness is good, but if I'm competitive with you, which when you're younger and stuff, it's normal. But for me personally, it's not about that anymore. It's being competitive with myself. Yeah,
I'm not competitive so much with others. I'm more competitive with me.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be better at that. And like I've really looked at the things that affect me and make me feel anxious. And I've done a huge amount of work on myself in the last year, like for good. Like I've looked at all of the ways I am with my kids, my husband, and the way I am at home, and the things I love doing and the things that make me stressed. Like I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a different person than I was last year. Like I know everybody is, and you change every day, but I feel like I'm totally different than I was. Like I'm not, like I'm still me obviously, but I'm not the same person I was last year. Like now I'm like way more chilled out. Like now I'm finding it hard to like get work done because I'm like, I might just go to the beach and have another swim because the weather's really nice. And I just heard like Jen is going down with her little boys, and I might bring Oscar down and have a little swim, play on the beach, and I'll do work tomorrow. And I'm not that person. Like that's not me. That's the opposite of me.
But that is important. The work will be there tomorrow and will be there the next day. You know what I mean? The swim mightn't.
No, it mightn't.
The time with your child mightn't. But the work will always be there.
Absolutely. And like I feel like as well, like I totally burnt myself out. Like I was at like proper the worst I've ever been in my entire life last October. Like I've never thought about like ending it all, like and all of that stuff. Like I can't even say those words like properly, like, but I've never really considered that up until that point. Then I just thought like everybody'd be fucking better off if I wasn't here. I'm always stressed out, I'm always anxious, like I'm not getting on with anybody, like everybody's telling me like, oh, you should do this or you should do this, and I'm just like, go away and mind your own business. And like, and I just felt like anxious all the time. Like, I remember lying in bed in October, thinking, what the hell is on my chest? I was asleep, but I actually felt like there was like a dumbbell or something on my chest. Like, it actually felt like that. And I woke up like, oh my God. And I was actually like having panic attacks while you're asleep. Like, that's bad. That's so bad. So I had to go back to my doctor, and like, I'd been on anxiety medication since the June, and from October they upped the dose, like doubled my dose that I was on, and I hated being on that because I felt like I need to, like, there's issues, this is just like masking over the things. It's not like fixing what's wrong, it's just a plaster. But I stopped taking that in January. Like, I was in a really bad place. Like, it was so bad. And then things just started to get better. I started going to Fran, and she did all her lovely Reiki healing on me, and I got to like talk to her because she does the CBT, the cognitive behavioural therapy, and
brilliant stuff. That
it's so good.
Just changing your thoughts.
And she just like gave me like little things that could change my life slowly. And then I got like addicted to going to Fran. I'm like, I have to go to Fran. I have to go to Fran like every 3 weeks or so. I'd go to see her, and I just felt so good when I came out of there. I just felt like calmer and ready for the next time until I went to see her again. Like,
but what you spoke about there is your life run on self-will. So you're like just charging that life, working, and as mothers do, like, they juggle. You've kids, you've kids, so that's like a job. You know, your work, you're putting in your 70-hour week, that's another thing, and you're doing this other thing, and you're thinking about them all the time. So you're burning out. It's escape.
Like,
it's escaping work, but
like,
it's burning out.
I'm a proper serial juggler, like not like cornflakes and Rice Krispies in the kitchen.
Life.
But like a life juggler, like, and doing everything all at once. Like, I had Hidden Heroes, my food business that was in Dunn's, that was one business. I had babyledfeeding, that's my second business, and then I had my design agency Sweet, that's 3 businesses. So every morning I'd get up, I had like 3 pages of to-do lists on each of them. And my to-do lists, I could have like 30 things on my to-do list. Like, totally unachievable. At the end of every day I'd go, I got nothing done. Like,
freaked.
I'm like, I got nothing done, and now there's like 5 more things on all of my lists, and then I just feel like stress all the time, like really bad. I gave up then Hidden Heroes. I finished that. Like, I was selling into all of the Duns. I was also exporting to Singapore. I was in Dubai. I was in the UAE. It was really starting to work more outside of Ireland than it was in Ireland. But I needed Ireland to work, and Ireland wasn't really working for me. I decided to take that off the market, and because it just wasn't working. And after that was 3 years of really hard work. I was doing in-store tastings on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on my feet, like asking people, would you like to try Hidden Heroes? And then working in the office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, trying to get everything else done. So it was like 7 days, like, for ages, and just really strenuous, really hard. And then I decided to stop doing it, and that was like I've never lost a child, thank God, or had anything, or lost anybody, thank God, but it was literally like losing a child to me. That's what it felt like. I was heartbroken, like sobbing, crying, going like, felt like such a failure. Like, I was in a group that was like 8 of us that were in that Foodworks group, and the rest of them has succeeded bar 2, and I always thought like I'd be like top of the group because I'm like that. In my head I'm always like, I'm going to be the best, and I wasn't. And that was really tough and really hard for me to deal with, and letting it go and making that decision. And the day I sent the email and said, I'm pulling my products, and then had that meeting with Dunn's and said, no, I'm taking them out. And I just got into Super Value, into like all the Super Value stores, and it was horrendous. Like, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's to a lesser extent, my wife done something similar. She walked away from a successful business because it was kind of coming in on her and just too much of a juggle.
Yeah.
And like that, she felt like she let everyone down, and she was real sad, and friendships and stuff. It's not just the business, there's loads of other things.
Yeah.
But now, when you talk to her, she's like, the best thing I ever fucking
and
done.
this is the best thing I've ever done too. At the time it didn't feel like that.
No.
Like last
There's
year
a morning,
it didn't feel
like there was
that.
a morning for about
Yeah.
a year. She was upset over
Yeah,
it. Do you know
I
what
was
mean?
like that.
She mourned it like exactly what you were. I must get you to talk to her, because exactly what you were saying, she felt the same.
Yeah, it's
You know?
really hard, like. But now I don't. Now I'm like, I'm so happy it's gone. Now I can't even like. I just signed my last accounts. Actually, they're just gone in, for the business to be like properly like closed down. We don't have any assets, so it's an easy kind of thing to do. Like it just didn't work, and I didn't have any money. Ran out of money and everything. So, I just literally signed everything there a couple of weeks ago to sign everything off for my accounts. So I'm really happy it's gone.
Savage.
Though I feel like this like sense
Savage.
of like.
Yeah. Thank fuck. Yeah.
And now I'm like really happy, like just doing my videos and come to the beach, and like I just don't need that kind of stress in my life. But yet still I'm like, oh, I have to do something to fill that space, but I don't, and I need to kind of like, I really have to like talk to myself all the time, like, what do you want to do with your life? What makes you happy? What's like the most important things in your life? Like I actually have to like sit down and have these chats with myself, like crazy, like. But if I don't, my issues are, I'm like, oh, like let's start a new business where we can get like all these nutritionists together and like do this. And I started doing a degree in nutrition in January, but I really enjoy it. Like I really enjoy it. But then again, like because I'm a graphic designer, we were asked to design a brochure for our like part of our course, and I went like, right, and I spent like a whole week designing this like full tilt brochure. So I like go like mad out, like, and everything that I do, I really have to like take a step back.
But I think
I need somebody to like slap me across
it's
the head
being aware.
sometimes.
Like you spoke about that pressure being on you, and like I've heard it described as anxious, irritable, and discontented.
Yeah,
you know, that pressure. And for me, and for anyone I've read about and listened to, it's a daily thing. It's like to be aware of that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's like your spidey senses
I
going,
had it
oh.
tattooed on my arm.
Yeah.
So like I've never had any tattoos before, and last October I couldn't breathe. Like I literally couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I felt like my breath was constantly on my chest, and I'm like just like breathing here instead of like taking deep breaths. And I used to have to like sit there, and my counsellor, because I was going to counselling, was like giving me all these techniques to help to like bring me down, like when I'd have like really bad like panic attacks. Like I was getting panic attacks sometimes, like 2 and 3 of them a day, where I'd be like sweating, like literally I couldn't drive. I had to like
impending doom.
It was horrendous. Like I would literally, like I'd be driving and my hands would get all sweaty, and then suddenly I'm like on the side of the road, like with my hands on the steering wheel going, I can't move. I actually can't move. I can't even move my hands off the steering wheel. Like I just, that's how bad I was. Like it's horrendous to be like that, and can't describe that feeling really to anybody in a way that gets them to kind of go, like, why didn't you do something about it? Like my mum, it's lovely, and like my mum was like, you need to go and just talk to somebody and just like fucking fix it. Like, what are you doing? I'm like,
Mass.
oh, shut up. Yeah.
Mass.
Yeah. Mass. Yeah. No, I had to like shock myself into like taking deeper breaths, and I couldn't remember to take a deeper breath, so I got it tattooed onto my arm. So I got like this Sanskrit symbol, which I love. Like I always loved yoga, and that's kind of when I started kind of thinking I kind of want to go back to doing yoga again. And I did a meditation course, and part of that whole thing is like deep breaths, and I was like, yeah, you know, I need to be reminded every day to take a deep breath right into my stomach and remember this time, that I don't ever want to go back to that time, and I need to fix it, and I need to deeply breathe every day and calm my head and stop my thoughts and like be more present, like look at things that are around me. And Fran was really good at that with me. She was like, 3 things that you can see. Like that was the first thing that she told me, and I remember that, like, because I was in my head going, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, and this is bothering me, and I'm like, this is happening at home, and this is like, and everything was just coming down on top of me. And she was like, okay, 3 things you can see. I can see the clouds, I can see the sea, I can see the grass. And then maybe pathetic or something to other people when they're like, really, did you have to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I did, yeah, for like every day for like months, about 6 months. Like, it's been a struggle, like, to try and I never thought I would ever speak about that kind of stuff to people, but like, it seems like lots of people are like that, you know.
People get themselves so wound up chasing this whatever, and they lose themselves. So somebody like, shout out to France, Soul to Soul, we need these people. We had them years ago that brought us back to what's important. Do you know what I mean?
She's my girl. I love her so much.
Fran is deadly.
No, she is.
She's amazing. But bring us back to,
yeah.
No, this is like to centre you. This is important because we lose ourselves, and what you just spoke about there for a couple of minutes is pain is the touchstone to progression. You're never going to say, do you know what, I need to go to the beach and I need to do this and I need to do that, or I need to go to Fran, or until you're in that space where you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking breathe, and you need, I can't live like this. And a guy I listen to and read a lot of, Dr. Gabor Mate, talks about that, like, pressure that we put on ourselves, and when we don't fix it and we keep doing it, it turns into other illnesses. Yeah, it does. And it does.
But like then I'm a hypochondriac as well, so like if I get like really bad like pains or something, I'm like, oh my God, like something's going to happen to me. Like the other day I was saying to Fran, actually, down the beach, like, I'm so happy, I'm afraid like it's all going to be taken away from me. I've never been in this like really happy, secure space. And like she had to like again like talk me down from a ledge. Now I wasn't on a ledge, but like, you know what I mean, like I was like, I'm just like, I'm so happy. I've never been this happy. Like I just have this fear that something's going to happen to me. I'm going to get sick. Yeah. And I'm just going to die. Like, cause it's going to be taken away from me. Yeah. Like it's not fair that I'm this happy. Like, and she had to like go, like, 3 things you can see. Like, take a deep breath. This is all normal. Like, you're supposed to be, this is where you're meant to be, and you need to accept it and bring your level down and like accept your space and accept the people around you. And like instantly I can hear her in my head, and I just kind of go, oh, that's so nice to be like that. It's lovely. They're really good tools that like you can use in your head, and you're like, when you do get to that anxious space, I don't kind of now go, oh, like, I used to start arguments with people in my head. Like, my husband would come in from work and he'd be like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here?
Have a good day.
I'm like, and then you do this, and then you do this. Whereas now I'm like, before that even happens, usually he'll like look at this and be like, yeah, that's not true. But usually I'll kind of take a deep breath and go, that this is actually in my head. It's not actually real. It's just something I'm imagining that could possibly happen. Or
But part of you spoke about from last October, part of why you feel so good is, and it's not a coincidence, it's by letting things go that make you stressed out, and that are, that are not working, and you made the decision, you have to cut this out. And also a major part is, whether it's the beach, whether it's hiking, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's having a bit of fun, it's like Carl Jung speaks about this. As a child, do the stuff that the hours pass like minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean? The beach. What did you do when you were 10 and 8 and your parents brought you away? You got in the sea. Your parents were probably in the car like that going, Jesus Christ, pulling down the window.
Opposite with us. We were all like, oh, it's so cold. And my mum and dad were like, come on, it's lovely. And we're like, it's raining.
But you were out there, and eventually when you get into it, so there's a lot to be said for like, you can't do it all the time, but if you get out before work, or it's a great starter.
Yeah, it is.
Or whatever you're doing, whatever makes you feel happy like that, because we do have to work, but you, by the sound of it, you were just turning into a full-on provider with no experiences, whereas the balance is to have experiences and provide, but have experiences also.
And it's funny because my husband the other day said to me, I was talking about like trying to manage like my little boy going to school and picking him up from school and getting my work done, and I'm like, I can't go to the beach today, and I'm going on this, and he said, okay, your number one thing is that you get to go to the beach. And when he said that to me, I'm like, oh yeah, that is my number one thing. So, and everything else works around that. So that's my, like, I get up at like 5 to 5 every morning, have my alarm set for 5 to 5, 5 o'clock and 5 past 5, just in case I miss the beach. 1, 2 and 3. And then I get up and I come down here, I make a coffee, come down here, I do about an hour and a half of yoga every morning, go for my swim, chat to my friends, and I'm home at 7:30. And it's so nice. And like some mornings, and like today, he brings Oscar to school, so I don't have to get back until like whatever. But like some mornings I haven't come back until 11, and like I had like beaten myself up going, oh my God, I have to get back to work, like what the hell am I doing? And I've rang Leah and said, like, I'm really anxious, like I'm getting, and she's like, take it down a level, like you've had a really nice morning. And then some days you just need those mornings where you're just like, feck it, like this is what I'm doing. And I work for myself, so if you can't like reap the benefits of that sometimes, like, I suppose, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
But this is my number one thing, and I have to like sort everything else around this, because like this has been like instrumental in like changing the way my perspective has worked. Like it's made my relationship with my husband like a million times stronger. Like we've fixed any issues that we had, like we're happier than we've ever been in our entire lives together. Like we've just met each other.
Savage.
Which is really nice.
Savage.
Like never like imagined that we could be like that. And I'm so madly in love with him now. Savage. It's amazing. Like I'm really happy with my kids, and I'm getting a bit of work done, and I'm really happy on the beach, and I'm getting emotional because I'm just really happy. Like I feel really happy. I feel like it's all kind of come together. That's why I get like what's going to go wrong, because I'm like, oh, there's take a deep breath, think of Fran, name 3 things, take a deep breath, sink. Use your toolbox. I have like Fran in my head all the time, you know.
But I think that stinking thinking is always there. It's always like nobody is positive. Nobody wakes up positive. Time. But it's like Fran speaks about it. I've heard other people speaking about it. That thought, if you keep running with it, then you're having that argument in your brain with that imaginary person that's going to come in your way, and you're going to say this and they're going to say that. And somebody said to me years ago, it's like the next time you have one of them internal dialogues, I was like, yeah, if they say this, I'm going to say that. The next time you do that, do you know what you're to say to yourself? And I was waiting for this pearl of wisdom. What? Just say to yourself, John, you've gone fucking mad again, and just get rid of it. You know what I mean? Change your thought. That thought becomes an action.
Yeah,
so it's
it does,
like, fuck off out of me head, keep it fucking nice, and just keep rocking.
Is this real? Like, no, this is not real. This is in my head. Has this happened? No, it hasn't happened. Well, then stop thinking about it. And like, that takes work, and it's very hard to do that, to get out of your head and into the present. But like I was saying to somebody, like I drive back from the beach sometimes, and I feel like I've done psychedelics or something. I'm like looking at things, kind of going, oh my God, like that cherry blossom tree. Like I don't do psychedelics before anybody sends anything. Anyway, I'd be driving by going like, oh my God, like that tree is amazing. Like, I'm seeing things in a different light than I ever did. Like, I'm looking at things differently, and I just feel like that's what I mean. I'm like a totally different person than I was this time last year. Strung out and like stressed, and
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, that's what
Those
I mean.
who
I've done
look
a lot
inside
of work.
awaken.
Yeah.
You're awake. You know, I'm not on this woke type stuff.
Oh no, I'm totally woke too.
But I mean,
No, I'm
like
woke.
to nature.
I'm woke.
Woke.
I love that word. I had to ask somebody what woke was. They're like, you're not woke if you have to ask what it is. But I'm fucking woke now because I know what it is.
But you're awake to this nature and to the beach and to the whole thing. You know, you're awake to it. I see all this stuff as well. I always have. You know, it took me a while to see it, but life becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot simpler.
Yeah.
You know, it does become. And then with the amount of us down there, with Paddy, with Leah, with Matthews, with like all the different types of people, Lorraine, and like there's a lot of creatives down there. Now they're not even in your field, or they're not in my field, or they're in different things, but like our stuff I'm into.
But it's funny how like everybody is down there. If you ask anybody down there why they started coming to the beach and doing like sea swimming in October, November, December, like we were swimming in January, I think the 20th of January, when there was like the whole beach was covered in snow and we were getting into the water and it was like so freezing cold, and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this to myself? But if you ask anybody why they started doing it and why they do it on those days and why they still continuously do it, they all tell you like it's all for the same reason. They all came down there, stress, anxiety, overworked, having issues at home. Like it's always stuff that's like that. Or I just wasn't feeling great, I decided to come down and give it a go. Like everybody has come down there because of like issues. Nobody's come down there and gone, I'm dying to do like sea water, cold water swimming, and well, like I'm sure some people have, but like none of the people that I know down there that have come down consistently every day, they've come down for those reasons, to shock their reality, I think. And I've
always done it. I've done it in different locations. I come down and sea swim every day. And the reason why I do it is I like to embrace a bit of adversity and difficulty. I'm walking out there and I'm saying to myself, what are you fucking doing this for? And every day, I'd love to be able to say, people say, I'd say you're used to it now. No, I'm not. I'm not used to it. Every time I'm walking out there, I'm going, for fuck's sake, why am I doing this? Or some days I'm like to the lads, okay, it's 6 o'clock, let's go. And then when someone else says it, I'm like, fuck him. I have to go in.
Yeah.
I have to. You know, it has to be done.
Yeah, it has to be done.
Embrace that adversity. And
I'm a different person if I don't do it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, and my husband now will say to me, like, because the other day I didn't do it on Monday, and then Tuesday I wasn't coming down on Monday and Tuesday morning, and like a few hours into like our Tuesday morning, he was like, go to the beach.
There you go. There you go.
Go do some yoga or something. And now, like, I
shout out to the husbands. They know the sus. They know the sus.
Like, I'll come down to the beach. Like, I'll come back from the beach and like I'll walk in the door like after doing yoga, and I'm like after doing swimming at the beach, and I'm like going to cook for the day, and I'm like really bubbly and happy, and he's like, oh my god, here you come, a little ray of sunshine, like because he's just like sees this totally different woman that's like happy and not like angry all the time, you know. Stressed, anxious,
woke, spiritually awakened,
spiritually
awakened from the sea, from the good vibes.
I'm totally woke.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, buy Aileen's books again.
Books are Baby Led Feeding Cookbook and the Baby Friendly Family Cookbook, and my Instagram page is at Baby Led Feeding.
And get all over our Instagram.
Yeah. And cook my recipes because they're really healthy. So I do like really healthy food for not just kids, for families. So therefore, my main kind of aim is to cook food for kids that the entire family can eat too. So you're not cooking separate meals, not separate meals for babies starting, weaning, toddlers. It's food that everybody can eat. So it's very inclusive and really healthy, like really nutritious. So there you go.
That is it. And sea swim
I'm
and
gonna
do
fall
yoga.
out the door.
And we're bleeding. Camera going all over the place. This will be interesting viewing on YouTube.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Please like, subscribe, share this video, give us a follow, send it to someone. Check out this will be up on Spotify in 2 days, be on YouTube later on. Do us a favour, help us share this all over the place. Thank you for listening, Aileen.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
In the van.